Okay, this is all to help you be preparados para su examen de Unidad 1, Etapa 1, Guía de Estudiar. Remember to highlight the titles to make it easier to see. We start with the regular conjugations for AR verbs in the preterite, and you have haste, o, amos, estáis, aron, and then remember to highlight the different accents. Yo and él both have accents. And then for vosotros, remember it's the tú form plus is. And then you have abordaron. For the car-gar-zar verbs, there's a spelling change in the yo form so that you are able to keep the original sound of the infinitive. Now, once we get to the dar, ir, ver, ser, these are irregulars that have no accents. So be careful of that when you are filling those out. So di, I gave, no accents. Fui, I went, no accents. After you finish with the irregular verbs, we're going to go ahead and look at these questions that we will be asked to you out loud. So looking at number 1, ¿a qué hora almorzaste? What time did you eat lunch? Many would think to use almuerzo, but almuerzo is present tense for I eat. You want to say yo almorcé because that is the preterite tense. So not almuerzo. Going to número 2, ¿qué hiciste anoche? What did you do last night? So there are many things that you can write. Here are a couple of examples. Yo hice mi tarea. I did my homework. Fui a práctica. Número 3, ¿a dónde fuiste el domingo? Where did you go Sunday? El domingo fui a, and then you can go ahead and say where you went. A la iglesia, al cine, a la casa de mi abuela. Número 4, ¿qué tomaste en el desayuno ayer? What did you drink with breakfast yesterday? So, tomar, you would answer, yo tomé jugo ayer en el desayuno, or yo tomé leche. Número 5, ¿quién preparó la cena en tu casa? Who prepared dinner? So the subject is not changing. It's in the third person, so you can either put their name or nadie. If no one prepared dinner, maybe you went out to eat. Salimos a comer. So for this next practice, you're going to fill in the blank with the correct conjugation of the verb, which is given to you in parentheses. So viajar, to travel. If you don't remember what a word means, make sure to look it up or ask your compañero. So go ahead and conjugate it in the corresponding form, and then after that, you're going to go through identify the words that you don't know and highlight in anaranjado, orange. Once you figure out what those words mean, you're going to put it together and translate the sentence into English. You can go ahead and define the words next to the Spanish word and then highlight your answer. Okay, so you go through and do the same thing for that section. Once you get to, I believe it's the last section, there's 2 parts. You need to conjugate the verb or in parentheses according to the subject. So, los estudiantes sacar would be sacaron. And then you're going to go ahead and translate it. Sacar is to take out. So the students take out the homework. And this continues through the back page. Notice that these are the verbs that don't have any accents. And so as you are translating these and filling in the blank, make sure to do that. Once that is finished, you're going to go to the next handout, ¿a dónde fueron? This should look somewhat familiar. You're going to be using the verb ir, fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fuisteis, fueron, I went, you went, he went, etc. So looking at number 1, it says hicimos un viaje, which you can see is in the nosotros form. So of course we're going to be using the nosotros form of ir, fuimos, which is we went. Then you need to pick an appropriate location, whether it's a la casa, al hospital, aeropuerto, etc. Go ahead and highlight your answer. For the next activity below, ¿a dónde hicieron un viaje? Where did they take a trip? This is a bit more challenging and you will need to work together with a compañero or look up some of your answers because this ties in some history. And so it's going to give you a clue about what they saw or what someone wanted to do, and then you have to choose from, these are countries, países, Mexico, España, Suiza, Alemania. Alemania is Germany. And so we're going to look at number 4. Mi esposo y yo queríamos sacar fotos. Me and my husband wanted to take pictures of, can you guess what La Torre Eiffel, it's the Eiffel. Hicimos un viaje a Francia. And the reason we know it's hicimos is because it matches in the nosotros form for we took a trip to. Then you fill in the país, el país, the country, which is Francia. And you're just going to go ahead and go through each of those and look up the answers. This next part should look super duper familiar because we just did some practice on this el lunes on Monday. And so I want you to try to do this though without just looking at your notes. And so the first part of the sentence is going to be whatever's in parentheses. That's the subject. That's the person. So Leonardo is the person. And then él lo vio. And lo takes the place of cinturón. ¿Qué le dieron a Diego? So it's Diego's cumpleaños. And everyone is giving him gifts. So you're going to use le in front of the verb dar for everyone. And go ahead and add a Diego to the end of the sentence. The final activity of the day, you're going to be writing a paragraph. I know it sounds kind of scary, pero si se puede. And so you're going to be, you have 3 requirements. One is verbs in the preterite, which you will highlight yellow. And so let's say you want to use the verb ir, which is to go. You're not going to write yo ir. You would actually be using the word fui. You also need to include 10 vocabulary words, which you can find in your text on page 51. Those words will be highlighted in blue, azul. The last requirement is using transition words, which we'll get to in just a second. So some examples of vocab: disfrutar con los amigos, pasaporte, viajar, etc. Here's one that's already filled out. So the transitional words you can find on this handout that you've already been given. There are a few extras that the sub can give you, as well as a link on the Google Doc in Google Classroom. So this is an example you guys can look at. Este verano yo fui a muchos lugares. This summer I went to a lot of places. Al principio me quedé en casa. At first I stayed home. So I'm just going through and highlighting the transition words that I used at the beginning, after. The azul, these are all vocab words. Maletas, ir de viaje, vuelo, disfrutar con mis amigos, avión. And then as you can see, the amarillo, the yellow, is the preterite. So you need to make sure that those are conjugated correctly, and then just go back and make sure all of the vocab is highlighted one color. Make sure that it makes sense. Go ahead and help each other out. You can proofread, and this will be due on Friday at the beginning of class. All of the assignments that you finish during class, I would like you to turn in so that I can see all that you accomplished during the day. So I hope that you guys have a great day. Ojalá que tengan un buen día y nos vemos.